I'm Kellyanne Helsel, and I'm sharing my story of behavioral frontal lobe dementia. My husband and I got married 3 years after dating. Our wedding was small and simple. We truly enjoyed every moment until it was time for bed. He had experienced ED for the first time with me, so I thought. He was on cholesterol and blood pressure meds, which can contribute to erectile dysfunction. I said, "Don't worry about it, it's going to be okay. We'll go to the doctor and see what's going on." Then he mentioned his previous wife had made some humiliating comments regarding this issue. So it had been an issue all along. Going to the urologist was hard for him. He definitely was a man's man. After some testing and numerous pills, nothing worked. I had been having some health issues and was sent out of state for some testing. As the day closed, we went to dinner, a favorite restaurant of ours, only to experience what I knew was a heart attack. Taken to the closest emergency room. I woke up the next morning being told I was going in for heart surgery. Not only was I shocked, but I was scared too, and my husband was nowhere to be found. The nurse said he went home to work. Meanwhile, he shared with my family that he was there by my side and there was no need to come visit. I thought of calling him, but honestly, I was afraid of what his response would be. I was just focusing on getting better, only to find out they nicked an artery and I was bleeding internally. I knew something was wrong. They told me I was fine. I was doubting myself, but my abdomen was growing little by little. They wanted to give me antibiotics, but I refused until they can prove I needed them. So I demanded a blood test, only to find out my intuition was right. I needed 9 units of blood transfused over a slow period of time. So I was there for 3 weeks total. When my husband picked me up, I couldn't even ask why he left me, or maybe I just was scared to find out what was going on. But the occurrences of him leaving me, yelling at me, putting me down, and just being distant just continued. He left me at Marshall's and was going to park his truck, and I came out and he was gone. I tried to reach him for 3 hours. Finally, he answered and was looking for farmland. Farmland, I said, yes, I always wanted a farm. Next, I catch him with a bottle of vodka between his legs in his truck. I asked, "What are you doing?" He said, "Just having a nipper," like it was a daily thing. I said, "You can't drink and drive," but reality was setting in. He had been drinking and driving more than I knew. One thing we agreed upon before marriage was no alcohol unless special occasions. Well, that went out the window. It wasn't just beer, it was the hard stuff always in paper bags, found hidden. His new hiding place was the incredibly beautiful backyard he built. I brought the drinking up and he went crazy. I had never seen this side of him, nor did I want to. He pulls over on the freeway in a large Ford construction truck, steps outside into traffic and just pees. I'm in shock. "What are you doing?" "Taking a piss," was his response. Then I remembered several times the strong smell of urine in his car. He blamed it on his elderly dog and started to do his own laundry. "You can't do that. It's indecent exposure." He didn't care. I said, "You're going to get hit by a car." He ignored me, so I'm thinking, is he drunk, taking drugs? Who pees in the middle of the highway? But I did notice his legs would shake uncontrollably before he needed to use the restroom. This was new. We took his family to take a family photo with all the old props for a vintage photo. You know, the ones where the guys had guns, woman had old-fashioned clothes on. And this time I noticed something different. He did not look like he was in the photo. His eyes looked vacant. His body was there, but he wasn't present in his mind. But his family looked and said everything was fine. That afternoon, after zero physical touch for several years, out of nowhere, he starts to lick my face in a nice restaurant like a popsicle. I was so embarrassed. His brother even looked at me like, "What was that?" I said, "I have no idea." He came home from work telling me how a lady was laying in the street. He pulled over and she disappeared. I think he thought he might have run over this lady, but the details didn't make sense. Then it was a drunk man in the street. He disappeared as well. I'm thinking to myself, is he drinking? What's going on? He said, "I think I'm just tired from work." But his vision was changing as well as his hearing, a little at a time, but he refused to address those issues. He takes me to a beautiful concert up in Lake Tahoe, Steve Miller and Peter Frampton. And again, he leaves me there. I'm dressed up in heels, a dress, and I have to walk down a street with zero purse, money, keys, absolutely nothing, not even a light. The street was pitch black. I had to sit due to my diagnosis of POTS. The police asked me what I'm doing in the dark, walking alone at 1 a.m. I said, "My husband left me. I got in the car." Only to find out I was sitting near a garbage can that was property of a family of hungry bears. They took me to the hotel, knocked on the door, and he answered, "Is your wife here?" They asked. "Yes," he responded. "Really?" "Because she's in our car." "Nope, she's in the bathroom," he insisted. The police went in and I wasn't in the bathroom. He said I crawled out the window. The window was maybe 12x12. The police came back to the car and said, "We don't feel comfortable leaving you with him." I said, "I'll be okay." But I was told to sleep on the floor by my husband. I didn't want to fight, so I just did. I used a towel as a blanket. I was so upset the next morning. I took his keys, wallet, and went to sit in the beach as if I were to teach him a lesson. He didn't notice until checkout time and called because he didn't want to be charged for the room. So finances were still important. So I'm on the couch at home and now bathroom floors. He even tried to take my wedding ring off my hand and hawk it. It hurt so bad, so I locked it up in a safe. He removed me from the bank accounts, would go weeks without a word, and started hunting bears in the backyard. I'm thinking I have lost my mind, but everyone else thinks he's fine. At this point, you start to believe it's you. End of part 1.